Hey folks, it's Ben. We're here with finally a fix-it project, right? We've been kind of dinking around showing you stuff. But here I have my garden tiller. This is my mainline tiller, and last time it ran, it wasn't running very well. It just didn't seem like it was running very strong, and then the second time, it wouldn't run at all. So, quick going through, full of gas, all that good stuff. Pulled the spark plug, wasn't getting any spark anymore. Kind of slowly faded and eventually no longer is around. So we've got the no spark issue. So in attempts to fix that, per advice, as my dad would always say, you gotta sand the flywheel. So fine, great, I did that. Still don't have a spark. So I'll have to apologize for the low lighting. So typically what I've seen on YouTube, etc., is that typically the points are gonna be slightly corroded, and that's what's causing my spark issue. So that means we have to take the flywheel off because it's underneath the flywheel, and getting these off is always a pain in the butt for me. It's never a job I've liked to do. So what I did for my birthday, I went to Princess Auto, which is a very discount tool provider here in Canada, and bought myself what I hope would fit is a twin leg puller. So we've got it right here. I actually haven't tested it yet even to see if it would fit. Kind of bought it. It was only 40 bucks, so it's kind of one of those, well, we'll buy it and try it. I'm sure there's stuff I can use it for if it doesn't work for this, but it's a fairly simple tool. As you can see here, it's just, and it's very dark in here. Sorry about that. I've got as much light as I can. It's just, it's got two arms, and what I'm hoping is that it'll bridge the span and I'll be able to just pull the flywheel off. I won't have to use a hammer and crank the poop out of it. So what I'm going to do now probably is put us on time lapse. I got to remove the starter mechanism, which we're also having problems with here. So once I get this out, I'll check those little balls that catch in things, because it doesn't always catch, and that's kind of a pain in the butt as well. So let's go ahead and take this starter mechanism off and get back down to hopefully the shaft and just the flywheel. Look out for the little balls, the little ball bearings in here that want to come out with it. They're part of what's gunged up in our machine anyway. It's like there's some sort of sealant in here too. So the scariest part, of course, getting this off, and this is the nut that holds the flywheel on, of course, is breaking one of these teeth, because it is technically a balanced wheel. There are a couple ways you can do it, but that way is just a gentle prying action usually doesn't break anything, at least in my experience now. So now we have our flywheel that is on the motor here. So this is where I'm going to get my clamp ready, see if we can bridge the flywheel, have our part here, and kind of pop this off. And there's a key right there, just like our little bearings for the starter. Don't want to lose that. So the question is, does it fit? And the actual answer is no. If it were 7 inches wide instead of 6 1/4 or 6 1/2 or whatever it actually is, 6 3/4 is what the outer capacity is. And had it been 7, it probably would have been okay. So my two rods are at a slight angle. And this shaft actually comes in quite a bit ways, but it's enough that everything's going to hang on. As you can see, the assembly's sitting here. So I don't know how much torque we can put on it, but we don't need a ton. We're just popping it off of its press fit here. So I'm going to use a 22mm side of a wrench here, and we're going to tighten it slow as we can. And after a bunch of editing, you'll hopefully see this thing popped off. So I'll tighten it slow. Try not to hurt anything here. It is, after all, one of 5 tillers I do own, so if I do break it, I have other motors as well. I'm just trying to see if we can pop this thing, the flywheel, off the motor without hurting anything. Myself included, right? Awesome, man. That was cool. A sudden pop, but it did exactly what it's supposed to do. Pop the flywheel off without actually hurting the crankshaft. We've got 2 wires coming out of this little box here, and they keep it under the flywheel because it's the most protected area. I can't remember if there's sealant in here or not, but I know the cover's held on kind of puny-like. Nice thing about working on a tiller is it kind of provides its own tool shed or tool holding area or parts holding area, we're not getting much deeper than this right here, so this works out in our favor. I'm glad that pulling tool worked. That's going to be handy when we're pulling flywheels and other things here. All right, so we'll take this off, and it only fits on one way, so we don't have to mark it. You can see where the coil is here, and there is corrosion in here, and here's where our points are. So we have our points here, and the action of the crankshaft and such opens and breaks this little coil, and this is actually a setting you can set as well, but it would slowly drift out of time, and in this case I actually have a bona fide problem here, where in terms of I actually need, it just kind of stopped. It didn't slowly get worse over time. So what I'm going to do here is actually, this is just held back with a spring. See how it moves? And if there's corrosion between those 2 points there, you can see right here, that's the problem. So what I'm going to do is sand them both, and then we'll put everything back together. So to put this together, what I'm going to do is, I took the seal back off. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to drop the ball on the floor, the ball bearing. I'm going to pick it up, and with all the dirt, I'm going to drop 1 in, 2, 3, 4, 5 I have. That works. So that they're all in there. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to put this back on over the top, and that kind of presses on like so. So it's a kind of a nice seal, and these screws kind of hold it in too. So now I can take this assembly and in theory screw it in. I'm going to tighten it one more time, and then we'll be done with it. So that's, I hope. So slid the cover on, so we can just use the pull mechanism. Let's give it a quick pull, see if we fixed our spark issue. So I'm in the light a little bit, but that's fine for looking for spark. Let's see. Fortunately, nothing. So we're kind of back to the drawing board a little bit here. Back to my dad, who's like, you need to sand it more. So Dad, you win. All right, so even doing all those steps of cleaning the points, cleaning the coil, cleaning the spark plug, actually changing the spark plug to another nicer used one there, making sure we've got all our good connections, still no spark. So I'm going to have to dig into a little bit more what's not causing a spark. We may have to replace another component. I've got coils all over the place, so I might be able to just grab that one quickly and throw another one on there, but not initially what I thought. So we'll make that another video. So for now, we'll just leave you with this awful teaser of a get the spark going failure, but at least we removed the flywheel. We did check the points and sanded them, but that's not our problem, unfortunately. So FYI, we did fix the ratchet start on it though. It works great now, turning the motor over. But let's keep trucking, but thanks for watching. Subscribe for more awful videos on small motor repair as we try to get my tiller going. Plus we got those other 4 guys, plus lots of other stuff like the John Deere sitting under all my crap over there. So, alrighty guys, subscribe, thanks, bye. I guess as a final summary for this, I didn't get any spark, but I was kind of cruising the internet, and Pimpin' Pens, and I'll link in the video here, made a suggestion on his video from several years ago that I could use just a coil off a regular like 3.5 or 4 horsepower Briggs & Stratton lawnmower that doesn't require points. So I tried that quickly, but I pulled it off a mower I didn't know ran anyway. It didn't work, but I'll find a mower that does have spark, pull its coil and give it a spin, but that'll be the next video. Anyway guys, thanks for watching.